and happy Monday. Welcome to the new year, Plug Talk Sports. We're finally back. First one, 2023. Danny Torres, Giancarlo, our boy Brandon will be on here soon. This is great, man. We're back. Episode 77. We had a break, a nice little, I believe it was 2 weeks. We had 2 weeks off in the break. So it was nice to be able to have some time off, to relax. I mean, we still had sports going on, and it was kind of tough. In the meanwhile, we're like, man, I can't wait to talk about this during the show next week, and then realize we're off. But we're back. It's great to be back. And let's get into our usual routines. Plug of the week, shameless plug. You know what? Let's do something a little different. Let's do your New Year's resolution. Janka, if you wanna start us off with what are you expecting from 2023? What is it that you want from 2023? Something you want to improve in 2023? You know, which one is it? What is it?
This is tough.
It is tough.
I guess lower taxes, less expensive food. What else? I'm hoping Mario Cristobal continues to recruit because our team is still trash right now.
Okay.
What else?
Give us one more. You can make it 3.
As you guys know, I'm not watching the Heat this season, but
yeah,
hopefully they have like a month and a half left before the trade deadline is. So hopefully they can pick somebody up before then and actually make me want to watch the games, because I've been solo these couple nights.
They beat Phoenix last night, and Van Gundy said that with the roster the Heat have right now, they can't win a championship. And I agree with him. It's sad, but I agree with him. They need to make, when you have Dwayne Dedman as your backup center, it's not fun. So they need to, like you said, they need to make a trade before the deadline.
Yeah, it doesn't take a guy making millions of dollars to say that on live television. Every Heat fan knows it.
All right. My New Year's resolutions, I'm going to have to say, continue to perfect my craft in commentating. I'd say that. Good health, as always. That's important. I have good health. And I'd say more disciplined. Stay the course and stay disciplined. Yeah, my word for 2022 was patience. My word for 2023 is bold. So we'll keep it at that. Let's get into first topic of the night. We're gonna have the national championship tonight. TCU against Georgia. Man, Ohio State. Let's talk about Georgia first. Ohio State they were close. They were close. I got to give it to them. They were very close. In this matchup, I want to say my heart is saying TCU. I want to see the Horned Frogs win it all. I really do. Now, mind you, Brandon's going to be on here again later. He's going to be on here later. But, Janka, do you remember a couple of months ago where I said, hey, man, TCU's looking pretty good? And he said, no, man, Oklahoma State, TCU doesn't look that impressive. And here we are sitting on the day of the national championship with TCU playing in it. So thank you, Brandon, for proving me right. Again, my heart wants to say TCU. I want to see them pull it off. I want to see them win. But Georgia, man, my mind's saying Georgia. They're just too good. But this is college football. Anything can happen. We can be in for a surprise, and we could see TCU take down Georgia. So for that, my pick is going to be TCU over Georgia. Horned Frogs over the Bulldogs. Jonko, what you got? What you got for me?
Listen, Ohio State came so close. It took a whiff of a kick to end their season. The way I saw TCU dominate Michigan, you know what? Let me say something about Michigan first of all. A bunch of choke artists every year. From now on, if you think they're the top 4, they're not top 4.
Hey, they have won their conference back-to-back years, though.
They went back to back. Make it a whole line, Congo line. If you think you're going to put them in the top 4, it's like, damn, you know what? They always choke. Let's put somebody else in because this is ridiculous. So that's just for me for Michigan. Now, TCU dominated that game, most of it.
Yeah.
And then Michigan started, carrying chairs, going crazy with throwing chairs around because they were coming back 41-38, and then there goes TCU. Turnover, touchdown. It was game over. TCU took over that game. I'm sorry, bro. I don't know. It's such a tough game. The whole question is TCU's offense strong enough for Georgia's defense?
Yeah, that's a big question. Very big question.
We saw Ohio State nearly win the game. Ohio State has playoff experience. TCU doesn't. Georgia just won last year. It's hard to repeat. We haven't seen a repeat in a while. You know what? I want to see TCU win, so I'm gonna go for TCU.
There we go.
If TCU wins, I'm getting over here. If TCU wins, I'm getting a Horned Frog shirt.
Hey man, it's just. My question to you would be, do you think TCU would be like Cincinnati was a couple years ago?
What Cincinnati was?
When Cincinnati got into the college football playoffs.
Cincinnati didn't make the...
They did not. That was the only difference. Cincinnati was a 1-and-out.
And they got torched, right?
It was against Bama, I believe, yes.
Yeah, they got torched. No, I think this is gonna be. I think they're gonna make it competitive. I think TCU's gonna come out just throwing hands. They're gonna come out strong, and they're gonna show the Bulldogs. It's like, hey, we were meant to be here. We're not just one and done. And then,
can you give me a final score?
That's what I was thinking, man. Right, that's why I stopped. I'm like, no, man, I can't do that. I can't do that. And then, I'm gonna say, man, 32.
Okay.
To 27.
That's close. Man, I don't even know. I think I'm gonna say I'm gonna go with 30-24. That's what I got. What do you think? What do you think TCU has to do in order to win?
I'm gonna be blunt. Score more points than Georgia. That's all they need. I don't think Georgia's offense is as potent as their defense is. So if you could just score points on Georgia, and you can hold Georgia's offense, which is I could see that happening for TCU. You can hold them to low scoring. I think TCU wins it.
And what does Georgia need to do in order to go back to back?
Again, basically the reverse. Just don't let TCU control the momentum. Don't let them go down the field because they do. It's like, hey, you're Georgia. You're the reigning champion. This is TCU. They weren't. Most people didn't think they were meant to be there. They got nothing to lose. So just maintain poise. Be you were there last year. Maintain everything, and then just do your thing. You should, and your defense should be able to hold their offense to you know what I mean. Like they should be able to hold them pretty well.
Only a 1-game difference. TCU with a 13-1 record, and Georgia with a 14-0 record. Here we go. It's tonight, 7:30 p.m. on ESPN. Georgia, TCU, the national championship, and we'll see what comes of this game tonight. It's going to be very fun, very exciting to watch, and I can't wait to get to it. Moving on into our next topic of the evening, it's the final weekend of the NFL. We're going into the wild card. Man, let me tell you, the Dolphins.
I said it.
Do you think after this season that McDaniels should be on the hot seat?
I don't know if it's McDaniel, but definitely probably the general manager.
Yeah.
And maybe probably just the general manager. He's been there for a while already. Like, or maybe, you know what? Maybe not this season, but everybody will be on the hot seat. If let's say they don't make the playoffs and they lose on Sunday tomorrow to the Jets. I don't know why I blanked out there. I think because we know Stephen Ross, him being I think over 80, he wants a Super Bowl for the Dolphins already. And we've already had the drama already with Brady and Sean Payne and Brian Flores and all this stuff. You brought in Tyreek Hill. You brought in this dude Chubb in the middle of the season. You guys were 8-3. I think 8-3.
Mm-hmm.
You lose 5 games in a row. You're 8-8. You're legit on the verge of missing the playoffs. And I think that can maybe push some thoughts into people's heads like, oh man, do you really think Mike McDaniel is the guy? I'm like, I think he's a good coach.
I like him.
But I don't think it was unfortunate that Tua had to deal with those injuries, and then Teddy Bridgewater with those injuries, and then there were inconsistencies at QB, and so they weren't able to maintain it. But at the same time, whenever Tua was on the field, he did have those couple games where he went off, but they were winning those games against these trash teams by nearly a score. And I'm like, you have Waddle, you got Tyreek Hill, you got Gesicki. You got what's his name? You got Jeff Wilson as the running back. You got other players you could use as their offense. It should be one of the best offenses in the league, and it's you should be winning these games by nearly three scores every game. And then, but you play these tough teams and you just get obliterated. You guys a no-show.
Yeah, I just think I don't. I saw reports going around about McDaniels being on the hot seat. I feel like this Dolphins team I think this Dolphins team had so many outside factors that impacted them whether with Tua's concussion issues, uh, injuries, other injuries, the NFL Player Association's investigations twice into the concussion protocols. But we have to call it as it is. I think that in the month of December, heading into now we are in January, one of the biggest collapses and implosions by an NFL franchise. And what I tell Dolphins fans, if you look at their, 5-game winning streak where everyone was calling, Tua MVP candidate and whatnot, they beat teams that were below 500. All those teams were below 500. And then once they started facing those teams above 500, we saw the results. Those 5 straight losses. Personally, for me, I don't think that he should be on the hot seat. I think he's a very good coach. I think McDaniel is probably the best coach the Dolphins have had in a long time, in quite a while. I really like him. I really like his attitude. I like the way he's, around the players. But yeah, my answer is definitely I don't think he should be in the hot seat, but definitely it is an embarrassment to the franchise, to the city of Miami, just the implosion that they've had. And I've seen some flaws. I mean, you and I have talked about it. Tua really, now it's starting to think about is Tua really the guy? A lot of times he's just chucking up these deep balls and he's just throwing them. They're not necessarily going into any specific target. It's just Tyreek Hill just goes back and gets it. And that's what's been the Dolphins' saving grace for me this season is Tyreek Hill making plays himself, making it happen. Now, I'm not saying Jalen Waddle hasn't been a factor. He has gotten his reception. He has been eating good. But I think to get them out of situations, it's been all Tyreek Hill. And that's definitely something to look at. And also the offensive line, the offensive line does its job. Tua doesn't get those concussions. So those are just the flaws and the issues that I see in the Dolphins, but definitely I don't put McDaniel on the hot seat after this season.
I don't want to put. You're talking about the offensive line. I don't think it's like their fault. I mean, like every team there's like one or two times like you get the pressure on the QB. It's like okay, but but it's like now you have to worry about Tua getting touched in that and then all of a sudden he's down for the count.
Yeah.
It's like now you really gotta ask Tua is like, hey, okay, now do you want to risk this franchise? You're gonna carry us? Then I don't want to see you getting injured. I don't want to see it because if you know that you're gonna get injured again, that means you're putting our asses on the line too. And it's like you're putting the team. If you're gonna put the team behind your back, then you better not get injured again because we know if you're gonna get concussed again, we're gonna continue to deal with this bullshit. Excuse my language, but it's just consistently let's say next season. There he goes. He gets sacked or whatever. Boom, he's down again. What are we gonna do again? What are we gonna continue to repeat ourselves? Hey, he's been injury prone since Bama.
Yeah.
And that's where the GM comes in. Is like, bro, don't you look at this? What the Dolphins want is consistently, and they want a good player that can provide for the team consistently. Where did you see that from Tua from the beginning? Just coming out of college, where? Busted head, busted shoulder, busted everything. Now he has a concussion problem, which can severely now with the CTE. Now we're gonna talk about later in the show with Hamlin. It's like, bro, just scrap the dude and go for somebody that you can go for it in Lamar Jackson. By the way, I've been saying this for months now. There's rumors that Lamar Jackson's already fed up with the Ravens and he can go somewhere else to play.
Yeah.
Imagine where he's a Miami kid. Where else would he want to play? Looking for big bucks. They haven't paid two of the big bucks yet. Hey, might as well go for a guy that's proven himself already. He can run. He's improving every year. And guess what? He's not dealing with any concussions. So it's like Just go for it.
I agree. I do like the idea of Lamar Jackson and back in his.
Or Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers likes Mike McDaniel. Or Tom Brady. We don't know. It's
Yeah, definitely for sure. As we head into Wild Card Weekend, let's get into. I want to see your picks here in the AFC. Let's start with AFC. We'd have Buffalo taking on your New England Patriots. What do you think of that? Who wins there?
Sorry for the background. Say it again.
Buffalo against New England. What do you think? Who do you take there?
Well, if you guys don't know, I'm a Patriots fan, so and I tweeted out that I believe that we will win. I believe that we will win.
Be realistic here, bro. Be realistic.
I don't expect the Patriots to win, especially now with the Buffalo playing for Hamlin. They're gonna be motivated. So it's like it would be nice if we win and just knock out the Dolphins right then and there. Yeah, se acabó la cosa.
But realistic, you're picking Buffalo, is what you're saying.
Realistically, I'm picking my Patriots, but in my heart, it's most likely it's gonna be Buffalo. But as a fan, I gotta pick no matter what, I gotta pick my Patriots.
We're gonna stick with Buffalo on that one. We're gonna stick with Buffalo. All right, Cincinnati and Baltimore.
Cincinnati.
Okay.
I think Baltimore's dealing with way too much drama with Lamar and they're that's like a complete utter bomb about to go off.
Jacksonville and the Chargers. Hey, Jacksonville has been heating up.
Man, I love you some Jacksonville, bro. But I want to see my boy Herbie go further into the playoffs. So I want my boy Justin Herbert with the Chargers.
Okay, so this takes us to Chiefs and Chargers.
Who won the matchup in the season? Was it the Chiefs, I think, or was it the Chargers? Let's see, what was it? The Chiefs beat the Chargers. Okay. 30-27. That would be at Arrowhead, right?
Yes.
I think my head is going to Mahomes, but it's like because they do have the bye, and with the Chargers beating the Ravens, I think they have momentum. They're fresh. They're warmed up, and then with the thing with the Chiefs, they have a bye. They're going to be rusty. They haven't had any playing time. They just practice and practice. So they could be caught. They could be caught slacking, which is the benefit of, even though you do have a week off, you do have the chance of getting stiff. So it's a good game. Depending on how the Chargers play against the Ravens, depends on how I think will come out. But I'm gonna say Chiefs for right now.
Okay, and then Buffalo and Cincinnati.
Cincinnati.
Okay.
I'm sorry for Buffalo fans. The Cincinnati Joe Burrow is going off. I'm sorry.
AFC Championship, Kansas City and Cincinnati.
The repeat of last year. Man, that's Joey B.
All right, so you have
my cards up.
You have the Bengals repeating as AFC champions and heading back to the Super Bowl.
That'd be nice.
Let's head to the NFC.
No.
49ers and Seahawks.
49ers.
Okay. Minnesota and the Giants.
Minnesota.
Tampa Bay or Dallas?
I'm choosing Dallas.
Okay.
Listen. I'm going to say something right now because I know you're on the show. I'm picking Dallas. I'm letting you know right now, bro. Don't sleep on the Buccaneers. Supposedly they're getting Ryan Jensen back and some other offensive linemen back. If you better win because they've been shit all year.
Yeah.
You better win. And you've been crapping the bed lately with these other trash teams, bro.
Okay.
You know, don't get caught, bro. I'm telling you. And you're gonna play in Tampa.
Second round.
God.
Philadelphia and Dallas.
Philadelphia and Dallas. That would be in Philly if you guys hold on to.
Yeah.
If Philly holds on to their number one spot, we'll be in Philly. That'd be tough.
They have both beaten each other this year.
It would be an upset if Dallas goes into Philly. And I'm expecting Jalen Hurts to play.
Yeah.
Man, if Jalen Hurts plays, I think it's gonna be hard to beat him in Philly, bro. I'm gonna have to say Eagles, but I won't be surprised if the Cowboys do win, though.
Okay. San Francisco or Minnesota?
San Francisco, Minnesota. That's a good game. That is a good game.
I'd have to go San Francisco on this one.
Is that Justin Jefferson and?
Yeah, bro, but they've been crapping the bed lately too.
But they did come back from 33.
Yeah.
Can they hold Justin Jefferson because that's all they need? They did get Hawkinson. They do have the running back, Dalvin Cook. But that's basically all they have. Can their offense just withstand San Francisco for one game? Is Debo back?
Yes. Remember Debo, Christian McCaffrey.
Okay, yeah. Let's go San Francisco.
NFC Championship. Philadelphia and San Francisco.
And this will be where?
This would be in Philadelphia.
San Francisco.
I'm going with San Francisco as well. So Super Bowl Sunday, Cincinnati Bengals, San Francisco 49ers. What do you got?
Versus the Cincinnati Bengals. Man. That's going to be tough. That's going to be if that actually does happen, that's going to be a really good game. Oh, my God. It'd be such a good game. Boyd, Higgins, Chase, Mixon, Hayden Hurst. And then you got McCaffrey, Debo. Oh, my God. George Kittle. Jeez. All right, relax. Chocolate, relax. Okay. Oh, my God. You know what? I know a lot of people want. I think if this isn't San Francisco's year, then I don't think they can win again. So I really want to see Joe Burrow win it. I really do want to see it.
Cincinnati.
I just want to see everybody that doubted Joe Burrow is like, I go Joey Burrow, Joey B.
So my prediction, and this is just me being me, but my prediction of the Super Bowl would be Dallas against Cincinnati or Kansas City. And from there, I can't pick because I don't know,
I think
bro.
an easier game would be with Kansas City, bro. I think Bengals have way too many weapons that they can just throw. Nah, Chase is not open. Nah, let me go to Boyd. Nah, Higgins. Nah, Joe Mixon is right open in the slot.
We beat Cincinnati earlier in the season by a field goal at home, but that was very early on. That was like the third game of the season. So, and Kansas City is tough too, man. I think both of those are tough for us.
And Cincinnati started off terrible.
Yeah,
they've won like 9 straight.
Yep, man. But yeah, I can't pick a Super Bowl winner. I don't know. Like if that's my prediction, I can't pick a Super Bowl winner.
Now, this could be a completely different total. If Tampa Bay does beat Dallas, Tampa Bay in the Super Bowl. I'm letting you know. If Tampa Bay were to beat the Cowboys, Tampa Bay is in the Super Bowl. Period.
Listen to me. If Tampa Bay makes the Super Bowl, this whole shit is rigged.
Bro, it's crazy. I can see that happening, bro. Everything is aligning. At the end of the season, all his offensive tackles are coming back. All the O-line is getting fresh. You just saw Mike Evans and his connection last week with the bro. Oh my god, I can see it happening right now.
I would just stop watching the NFL.
Just imagine, bro, them going 8-9 or 9-8, and they end up winning the Super Bowl, or just making it would be even crazy. Would still be crazy.
I listen. I don't want to start. I don't want to start to think about it because it's just. So let's talk about. We continue on the topic of football. Let's talk about something serious that happened last weekend on a Monday Night Football game. Listen, I was outside the country. I was in France.
I saw it.
And I got back to my hotel late. It was about 3:30 in the morning, I believe. And I went on my phone right before I was going to bed. Mm-hmm. And I saw everything on Twitter. And I saw videos. And I was in shock. And it was one of those moments where I was just laying in bed in the dark. And I was like, oh, crap. And we're talking about Damar Hamlin from the Buffalo Bills. T. Higgins, I believe it was T. Higgins, goes into Hamlin, and it looked like a normal tackle. Everything looked normal. He got up, and then you can tell, though, when he got up, like it looked normal, but you can tell there was something off.
He stood up, and then he just stood there.
Yeah, and then he just fell backwards.
Yeah.
And just collapsed. Listen, a lot of people were like, oh, I've never seen this happen before, whatever. I saw it happen in 2020. Christian Eriksen in the UEFA Euro Championship with Denmark, where he collapsed. And he had the same thing. It was a cardiac arrest, which is what Damar Hamlin suffered from, which his progress today is he's still in critical condition at the hospital in Cincinnati. But he is improving. He has talked to his teammates. He has talked to his friends and family. But he is improving, but still in critical condition. My thought of it is like, was there a pre-existing condition that he had that led him to suffer this cardiac arrest? Because you think about it, you have padding in your jersey, in your front, your chest area. You have padding. I know the hit was hard right to the chest area from the helmet. Um, for me, it's either a pre-existing condition or it was just a freak of nature. Something just randomly happened. Um, but it was sad, man. It's always sad to see something like that happen, and he was given CPR in the field for what I understand about 10 minutes, and then taken to the hospital from there by ambulance. It's a scary sight. It just makes me think sometimes. Football is a very violent sport. Um, no matter how much protection they give these players, uh, and just circumstances and just situations like this that keep happening make me think to myself, when I have kids one day, if I have a son, whether I want him to play tackle football or not. And right now I'm leaning towards no. I wouldn't want my son. I mean, if that's what he wants to do, I'll let him play. But it's something that I wouldn't be, happy about it. I think that um, a lot of these players, when they get out of the NFL, or it doesn't even have to be NFL, high school, or even college, have brain damage and CTE and whatnot. Uh, but closing is just I want to give my support to Damar Hamlin, his family. I'm glad that the NFL made the right decision and just canceled that game, and they did not resume the game on that date. That would have been very bad. But yeah, that's all I got to say about that, man.
Yeah. I just want to know what the NFL is going to do for Hammond because they might not let him play again. Seeing what happened on the field.
Right, and that's my next
He's a rookie, so he's not being paid millions of dollars. He's like his salary is only like a couple $100,000 or something, which is it's basically nothing compared to all these other players. And remember, like this guy, he has. What if he has kids? Like his life was football. Now you take it all. Now it's taken all away, and now he has bills to pay. He's got things to do, and then still the NFL's has still not paid up on that CTE scandal. That's like billions of dollars. And it's like this. Where's the money going to? It's like they should be going to the players that are dealing with this and the families.
Yeah.
So I'm just like hopefully he gets better. Maybe he can play again. But I don't see a team risking that happening again on the field and him them being liable or just being associated with them being the ones to or associated with them being the team to allow that to happen again. So, and as for what you said about the game, I agree the game should have been canceled on that day, but I think I would have asked for like the playoff picture wise and how it affects how the standings would have been. I think they should have rescheduled it maybe for another day. We already know he's doing better now. It's like I think they should have rescheduled it. So like whatever. So week 16, which would have been the Bengals and the Bills, make that the week 17 game, and then just make this weekend tomorrow, the week 16 game. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Let me tell you, that decision by the NFL screwed over a lot of fantasy players.
And a lot, and I've been seeing that a lot of mostly it's people that have a problem with it is people from Cincinnati because this hurts only Cincinnati, nobody else because Kansas City is at number 1, and the Bills are number 2, and Cincinnati's number 3. If Cincinnati would have beaten the Bills, they would have moved up to number 2. And then if Kansas City would have to, the seating would just be completely different.
Yeah.
And so it's like, oh, you cancel our game now. Now we have to play a division rival in the Ravens or a conference. They're a good team. Because what if we lose now and then we're screwed over and we can't make up the other game? So I mean, I understand where they're coming from. Is like, but they canceled it. It's done. Can't do anything about it now. But I would have like just imagine if that would have affected the entire landscape. Like imagine the Champions League. Imagine if that would have happened. Oh, you cancel a game. Now you can't make up that game anymore.
Listen to me. Listen to me. I was winning in fantasy.
We know. Yeah.
I had Dawson Knox, not in our fantasy league, my other fantasy league.
Oh.
I had Dawson Knox, and my opponent had T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. I was winning, but he was on pace to catch up and to surpass me.
I had Joe Mixon and Chase.
And this was the championship round. And since it got canceled, I win. And they gave me the title. And I'm now the champion of my fantasy league. And he was like, come on, man. Like, I was on pace to pass you. And I'm like, yeah, man. Like, I told him, I'm like, if they wouldn't have canceled that game and they would have replayed it another date, you would have won and you would have been the champion of the league. I mean, I ain't complaining. I'm the champion of the league, but I see his point. And that's happened to a lot of fantasy players. And I know it's irrelevant. It's fantasy football. But I agree with you. I think maybe they should have found another date. I don't know. There's a lot of logistics that go into it. You know, tickets, availability of stadium. There's a lot to go into it. And then obviously this is the last weekend of the season. You know, you'd have to play 2 games and then head into the playoffs in a short, amount of time span. So it would be a lot. I know how it could be unfair to Cincinnati. But I think that's just the way it has to be, and we have to move forward. And again, we just have to keep Damar Hamlin in our prayers. And again, it's difficult for me in my mind thinking how he's going to come out of this and be like, all right, I'm going to go right back on the field and start playing football again. I think if I was in that situation mentally, I would be afraid of like almost having PTSD in a way. I'm like, man, like if I take another hit, is like something going to bad happen to me again? Like, it's a scary thought, man. It's a scary thing what he went through.
My question is, where's the NFL PA at? Like, we're supposed to be representing the players. Like, this just happened to the guy. And, like, where's your defense? Like, yo, NFL, like, obviously this guy, he's dealing with a lot right now. Now we got to check to see now with this season with Tua and this and many others. I'm going back to the CTE thing. Is like, when is the NFL going to do something about it? And NFL and NFLPA is like, these players keep dealing with these injuries, and yet they can lose their job. They can ruin their lives, and then they're not being paid for it. Even though if they lose their job, that's it. They lose their salary because they're paid to play.
Yeah.
And then they lose their salary, and then they end up unemployed. But then the NFL doesn't compensate them for what they did on the field and what they had to endure.
Yeah.
So I want to see something done with the CTE thing.
A lot of logistics are going to go into it. We'll continue again. Pray for Damar Hamlin and his family, his teammates, Buffalo Bills organization, and see what comes of this. But we'll monitor that, and we're going to move on to another sad topic. Over the break, we lost a absolute legend. For me, is the GOAT of soccer. I'm talking about Pelé, 3-time World Cup champion with Brazil. Played almost all of his life with his childhood team in Brazil called Santos. Came to the United States before there was Major League Soccer and played for the New York Cosmos. Man, I grew up with my dad teaching me about Pelé. When he joined the New York Cosmos, he had a game down here against the Fort Lauderdale Strikers, and he was doing some advertisement or whatever, and he went to my dad's school, and my dad was a little kid, and my dad had a napkin from lunch and a pen. And my dad was so nervous, his hand was moving, and he accidentally pinched Pele with the pen. And Pele told him, "Hey, son, like, don't worry, calm down," and signed the napkin for him. And today, uh, my dad has that napkin with Pele's signature somewhere in his room. It's somewhere hidden somewhere. No one can find it. He's got a lot of soccer stuff hidden um, from back in his day, but that one to him, that's the greatest prize possession that he has is that signature from Pele. And I knew during the break, last few days, there was a lot of talk that Pele wasn't doing well, and he was in the hospital and he was in life support, and his daughter went to go visit him, and what she said was the final goodbye. And yeah, he ended up passing away, and I think that the legacy and the impact that he left on soccer and what he was able to do in his career transcended to what the modern soccer player is today. Definitely for me, my GOAT. Legend of the game, definitely my GOAT. And just to see the impact, the Santos Stadium, the line to go see his casket in a public memorial was just unbelievable. Just the amount of pouring emotions, especially for the Brazilians. It was incredible, and it's sad. And Pele's legacy will definitely be long lasting. I know that FIFA President Gianni Infantino wants every country in the world to name one stadium after Pele. I don't know if that'll happen. It would be nice. It would definitely be nice. But yeah, just a sad time. I know it hurt my dad. I know my dad was really sad about it. I was sad about it. Obviously, like I said, the bond I had with my dad over learning about Pele growing up. Yeah, it was sad. I think this was sadder than Diego Maradona, to be honest, as well. But yeah, that's all I have to say. Jonka, I'm going to give your thoughts about Pele.
As people don't know, I wasn't really into soccer until like many years ago. Until like maybe I was like 7. Until I saw the movie Kicking and Screaming. If you guys don't know, and then in the movie they talk about the son and the father are playing against each other for a Pele ball. For a Pele ball, the one he had on the top of his thing, and I'm like, Pele, what the hell's Pele? I never like, and I'm like, I look it up and I'm like, Pele. I'm like, oh, it's a soccer player. And then I look more into him and he's like, oh, the greatest soccer player ever. I'm like, oh, okay, that's why. And then I finally get into soccer, and then I play and I understand how hard it is to play, and then the future, and now we're here.
Yeah.
Man, to win 3 World Cups, to represent Brazil, which is with five
World Cups, the most.
Is it the most? Yeah.
The most.
Yeah. And so I'm just like we lost another one with Muhammad Ali, and then Maradona, and now him.
Throw Kobe in there too.
Which one?
Throw Kobe Bryant in there too.
Oh yeah, Kobe Bryant. That's another legend. Man, these 2020s are a little bit emotional.
It is, man. It is. We're losing the great ones.
He was. Oh my God, it's tough now. We don't get to. I loved his attitude. By the way, he was always a little cocky, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I had over 1,000 goals."
But hey, he was always. What I liked about him as well, aside from his attitude, was that he was always so friendly and encouraging to other players in this time. And he didn't care if you were Brazilian, Argentinian, Spaniard, American. He was always encouraging people to be their best, to play their best, and rooting them on, no matter what stage of any tournament, of any league, of any game. He was always so very encouraging of people.
Yeah,
But yeah,
it's a huge loss to the football community.
yeah, for sure.
Football. If anybody wants to be specific about it.
It's definitely a huge loss, and his impact is going to be felt forever. Every generation from here on out, every generation from before us, forever. Pelé is going to be remembered forever.
We'll see if they still. We're
Yeah.
gonna see if they still uses that as momentum for the next World Cup.
2026, yeah, for sure. For sure, there'll be some momentum. Final topic of the night: Greg Berhalter's situation with U.S. soccer, dude.
You're gonna have to talk about this one because I was completely lost in what the hell happened.
I'll explain. Don't worry. Unbelievable. Like just such a mess. Okay. Gio Reyna, forward for the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
Going to the World Cup in Qatar, was told that he was going to have a limited role on the squad, and he only played twice, very few minutes. Mind you, his dad, Claudio Reyna, also played for the national team, obviously back then, and was a big player for the U.S. national team.
Yeah.
Apparently, during the World Cup, Gio Reyna had to apologize to his teammates because he had a bad attitude and stuff like that, and he had to apologize. That went on during the World Cup. We're past World Cup now, and this is what happens. A allegation comes out that Greg Berhalter, the coach of the U.S. men's national team, 31 years ago, kicked his wife in an argument. And he came out and he apologized for it, and he said he's not proud of it. You know, that is the woman that he loves, and they're still married today. After that argument happened, they had broken up for a couple years, and they found their way back to each other, and they ended up getting married, having kids, and he apologized for that, and again, happened 31 years ago. This information, here's the bombshell. This information, because before this even got out, it was announced that the U.S. Soccer Federation was making an investigation internally due to some behaviors. Then it came out that it was Greg Berhalter who they were investigating for this incident 31 years ago. How did they get this information? Claudio Reyna and his wife told the U.S. Soccer Federation about this situation of Greg Berhalter due to the fact that they were upset that their son had a limited role in the World Cup. Here's my thought on this before you say anything, Jaka. It is so immature, disgraceful to throw your coach under the bus just because your son didn't get enough playing time. You've got to be kidding me. Like, you really just made U.S. soccer around the world, like everyone's laughing at U.S. soccer right now for this situation. It's so distasteful, so disclassful. It's so stupid, so immature just to do this. And just to, you're hurting someone's reputation, you know, over that. And now the U.S., at least for January, for the U.S. soccer training camps in January, Greg Berhalter will not be leading it. It'll be his assistant coach who will be leading the camp in place of head coach. And we don't know if Greg Berhalter is coming back as head coach of the national team. We don't know. This situation might have just got him fired. And it's sad it went that way. But that's the way it happened. That's all I got to say about that. It's just extremely stupid and immature.
I mean, I don't know what else I could possibly say. I mean, it's those parents you see at the park watching the kids play.
Yep.
And the coach benches them. It's like, why are you taking my son out of the game?
Yep.
He scored the most points of the team.
Absolutely.
And then the referee has to control the parents and tell them, hey, if you don't control yourself, you're gonna get kicked out. Now it's like, but if your son wanted more playing time, he could have told the coach something. He could have trained some more.
Could have had a better attitude during the World Cup training camp.
That too. He could have done whatever possible to try to at least get some more playing time, even if it's an extra 10 minutes on the field. But now with this, the parents don't make him look good. He doesn't look good. Now the U.S. men's soccer doesn't look good, and now that doesn't help their case because I think they were trash to begin with, and they were looking good this year.
Yeah,
but now everything is back, hopefully not back to square one, but it's like I don't know what else do you want U.S. men's soccer to do, bro? It's like I told you, what can go wrong will go wrong. It's always something.
And I just can't imagine him going back into that locker room is going to be really awkward.
And do you even think the head coach I forgot. Do you think he was doing good, or do you think it was so-so?
I was skeptical about him before, but I feel like the U.S. did all right at the World Cup. So I wasn't really. The question is, would you have him for the next World Cup in 2026? And my answer is I don't know. I would have to see how it goes throughout the years from here to 2026, how the team does. So, but his performance at the World Cup, it wasn't bad. I mean, it wasn't the best, but it wasn't terrible either. So that's my answer to your question.
Like, we know all the European teams, all the South American teams, all Asian teams, they're gonna improve.
Yeah.
Right now, I don't see U.S. men's soccer at the moment improving because of this situation. Now they got to deal with this on top of getting better.
Still got a long way to go, man.
Like, you don't see any other country dealing with this BS.
Yeah.
They can just go on with their day, train. Now, those days they use not training and dealing with this, they could be using, I don't know, maybe finding their new striker or trying to find a new player they can use to take the next step. But no, now they're dealing with this. Now it's like basically another setback.
Yeah.
I'm letting everybody know. Anybody that says USA champions for 2026 is delusional. I'm letting everybody know.
I won't make a prediction yet because it's way too early. And there needs to be things assessed throughout the team first. But that's going to conclude our first episode of the new year 2023. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Again, as always, we appreciate your support, tuning in to all our social media, all the content that we put out there, and of course, this show every Monday night. We'll see you guys next week for episode 78. Signing off. Have a great week, everybody.